Well, good morning, my friend. Welcome to the Pastor's Podcast. Good to have you with me on this Tuesday morning. Hoping that you had a good start to your week, and we're looking forward to another great day here at the Maranatha Baptist Church. Going to be a sunny day here in the Oklahoma City area. We need to enjoy it for the next couple of days. We're talking about rain coming towards the end of the week and into next week, praying that God will stop the rain for Saturday and Sunday. That's what I'm praying for. Would you pray with me on that? That God will stop that rain. He can, He has, and He can still do it again. And Jeremiah 33:3 tells us that God can answer great requests. And certainly hoping that you would pray with us about that for Easter Sunday. Great day out soul winning yesterday. Boy, God gave us just a lot of good little nuggets of soul winning yesterday, being able to reach people and then getting a lot of people ready to come in on Sunday for Easter Sunday. My friend, can I tell you, now's a good time to be a soul winner. Just go out soul winning. All you have to do is say, hey, we're just having special Easter services. What are your plans for Sunday? This is what I'm finding. A lot of them say, well, don't have any plans. Well, why don't you join us? I'm telling you, last night when I went out, I'm going to tell you, I went at least 5 homes I went to. They said, we've been looking for a church. They said, we'll see you on Sunday. Now I'm telling you, you just got to stay busy going out. There's people out there. You can find them. We just have to go out there and knock on doors, invite people to church and talk to people, and they will get saved. Well, today I want to read to you from Ezekiel chapter 27. And in verse 26, the scripture says, thy rowers have brought thee into great waters. The east wind hath broken thee in the midst of the sea. And when God talked about Tyre, and what it had become, he used a ship as an illustration. Back in the days of Ezekiel, the ships were often propelled by rowers in the bottom of the ship. These rowers were not the captain of the ship that everyone looked to, but that captain could not get into the deep and great waters without those rowers. That captain and his ship became great because of the unseen rollers who brought his ship into great waters. It is vitally important that every person remember that day, or remember that they did not get to where they are without someone helping them to get there. No person is self-successful. They are success because of an unseen team of people who help them get to the level of success that they've achieved. Now, certainly, we would like to lift up the successful person, but behind that person are many people who help them to get where they are at the present. Now, it is incumbent upon that person that they remember the people who invested in them when they were a nobody. The ship that God talked about was just another boat in the harbor without those rowers. And the successful person is just every other person without those who invested in their life. Now, behind your life, my friend, is a team of people who helped you to get to where you are in life. You're not self successful, but you're a combination of the efforts of people who helped to train you, invest in you, and push you to become the person that you are. Yes, you had to take the initiative to take has been given to you to put it into practice, but you would be nothing without that team of people who invested in you. Now, there are a few observations that we can take from this truth that can help all of us to be appreciative of those who invested in us. First, it is the decent thing to remember and thank those who invested in our lives. Yes, that's the decent thing. The plethora of people in our lives who invested in us deserve to hear a thank you every once in a while because of what they instilled inside of you. Listen to me, a week never goes by that I don't remember someone who is in heaven that invested in my life. I often ask God to thank those people for me. I say, God, I think of my mom. I'll say, God, would you just thank my mom for all she did for me? I think of my pastor, Brother Hiles. I say, God, would you thank Brother Hiles for investing in my life? I know I can't talk to him. God can. And I know that God can thank him for me. Now, I often ask God to thank these people for me because I cannot talk to them, but I know that he can. And many people go through life without any gratitude for the energies they invested in others. Now, whether it be a parent, a pastor, a school teacher, an assistant pastor, a Sunday school teacher, or some other person, you ought to write a note. If they're still alive, you ought to at least write a note. Send them a text or even call that person and thank them for the investment that they've had in your life. Second, those who invested in you don't have to be perfect people for you to be grateful for their investment. In fact, many of those who invest in you may have marred their lives in sin, but they still invested in your life. Now, don't let the humanity of the one who invested in you cause you to become ungrateful for their investment. Unfortunately, there are some in my life that they're no longer they're no longer in the ministry, but they invested in me, and I owe them a great debt. Now, never let the humanity of people who invested in you cause you to be ungrateful for their investment. We all owe them a thank you. Yeah, well, they messed up in sin, yeah, and you're not and being ungrateful is not a sin. Maybe we ought to say you messed up in sin. What sin? That great sin of ungratefulness. Everybody deserves to be thanked for the investment that they had in their life. Now, third, don't waste the investment of others in your life, for their investment is their life's work. Make the most out of your life, and you'll make the most out of their investment in you. I want everyone who's invested in me, I want their investment to prove a worthy investment. You know, when you invest in something, what do you expect? You expect to make money out of it. You expect it to grow. You expect it to flourish. Now, those who invested in you, wouldn't it be good that their investment would grow because you're growing? Do you understand? Every time I do more for God, every person who is behind me, who invests me, I could start naming names. I'm just going to name a few, and I probably shouldn't do this. I think of Rick Flanders, who gave me the first opportunity to preach outside of my dad's church. I owe him a critical thank you. I think of my dad. He invested a lot in me. I owe him a lot. My mom, I owe her a lot. I think of a lady by the name of Bernadine Fenners. Boy, she was a great encouragement to me as a young teenage boy. I think of Jack Compton, who taught me some values of working and even allowed me to work with him in his business at times. And I could go through the lives. I could think of B.G. Buchanan, who invested in me, Brother Hiles, who invested in me, my Aunt Bessie Parr, who invested in me, my Uncle L.J., who invested in me. Oh, many people who's invested in my life. I owe them a great debt. That debt that I owe them is to make their investment in me a worthy investment. Now, I ask you a question. Are you being grateful for those rowers at the bottom of your ship who have rowed you into great waters? Have you said a thank you for them? Have you made their investment grow? Are you making their lives worthy life, making it a better life because of what you're doing with your life, my friend? That's the least we can do, is to make the most of our life and send a thank you to those in one way or the other. If they're in heaven, ask God to thank them. If they're alive, find them, send them a note, call them up, text them, and say thank you for all the investment you've had in my life. It is a sad day, and I mean this. This is something that just gripes me a lot. And that's this: people wait till someone's in a casket to honor them. Why not honor them when they're alive? Give them the praise. Well, I don't worship man. Oh, shut up! Your ignorance is leaking out. Somewhere we've got to not wait till someone's in the casket. They're in the casket, they're not going to hear you. So while they're alive, you ought to be regular in thanking people who put something in your life. Because I'm telling you, my friend, they've invested in you. The least you can do is say thank you for their investment. I hope this is a great challenge to you today. Now, remember, be good to everyone. Everyone's having a tough time. Have a great day, my friend.